SuperTalk Mississippi media production. Pike County, here comes your morning show. Dave in the morning on 93.5 FM, SuperTalk Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Clark.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any parties. Correct?
No, sir, mine is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any conversation.
Then I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, or the accused, or on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Well, good morning. How you doing? Thursday morning has arrived. We are getting so close to the weekend. Getting so close to smoking on the tracks. This is a big weekend. And I find it hard to believe that this would cover anyone, because I've been to smoking on the tracks just about every year it's happened for the last 15 years. And the crowds are enormous. So I find it hard to believe that there are that many people that have never been to smoking on the tracks. But if you haven't, boy, do you have the perfect weekend for your first-time experience. The weather is going to be absolutely gorgeous. The bands are going to be great. I mean, the food's going to be the food. It's always the food. It's every year it's the food. I cannot stress that enough. I believe India said yesterday 70 vendors, over 70 vendors possibly. 70 even is a lot of vendors to go and peruse. Going to be a good time. I suspect there will be a big old crowd, my favorite kind of crowd. Make your plans to go tomorrow night starting at 6. And then they pick back up Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for the big judging day on the barbecue. Because while everybody else is there partying, and don't get me wrong, the folks on the teams are having the time of their life. They really are, that are out there doing the barbecue. But they're also at work. They take it seriously. It's a job. In the best definition of that word, it's a job. So if you want to see some professionals hard at work while you're not, that's always enjoyable. Make your plans to be there tomorrow. Bring your appetite. You're going to need it before you get out of there. All right. Half an hour ago, the city of McComb announced a vacancy for a collections clerk in the city clerk's office. Literally, this is, I'll read the definition as they posted it. This position performs technical work, including the collection of all municipal revenue and maintenance of accounting records. I would like to interject right here, and this has no reflection on anybody or anything. It's just an operational observation. I know a little bit about operations. I know a little bit about how to organize things, how to streamline things, how to make things work most efficiently. I'm not sure when you've got a $13 million budget per year and tens of millions beyond that are spent out of other funds and in other ways every year, and all of the moving pieces and all of the accounts receivable and all of the problems we have with water collection. We're going to get back into that audio from Tuesday night because we didn't have a full slate of time to get into it. The audio yesterday. We're going to go over some of that and give you the full scoop there. But it was very obvious we have some collection problems. Might I say that some of the problems that we've heard might not be best served by taking that entire job and concentrating it into one position? Again, reading the official definition, this position, it's 40 hours a week, $15.35 an hour to deal with this nonsense. That ain't enough. I'll tell you that right now. This position performs technical work involving the collection of all municipal revenue and maintenance of accounting records. $15.35 an hour, you go collect all the revenue that anybody anywhere owes the city. Oh, and you're going to be responsible for keeping the financial records. You're going to put all of that into one pair of hands. I don't care whose hands it is. Right now, it's no one's. This position, 30 minutes ago they posted this, and it's open until it's filled. So there's no one involved. But I don't care what pair of hands you put it into. That's too much to go into one choke point. That one person responsible for all of it, And I know, well, Dave, you can delegate. Want to bet? Have you been paying attention for the last 8 years? That's not how anything works with City of McComb government anymore. You don't spread the load. You ignore the load. That's been the modus operandi for almost a decade now. So, luckily though, they have some stringent qualifications for someone who is, again, I'm going to keep reading this definition because I want to get it word for word exactly what the city put out. This position performs technical work, including the collection of all municipal revenue and maintenance of accounting records. Got to have your high school diploma or a GED. Here's the qualifications. Brace up. You're going to love this. High school diploma or GED, plus 6 hours of college-level accounting coursework, and 2 years of experience in accounting, finance, or banking. Or a high school diploma or GED, and 4 years of experience. As you know, as I played yesterday multiple times, and I will be playing again today, such as, for example, right now, there are some issues that are going to have to be dealt with in the city of McComb. And I'm not sure you want a high school graduate with a couple of hours of accounting experience to deal with things like this.
$38,000 piece of equipment with, as opposed to $13 million that I can't account for.
That was City Administrator Bell on Tuesday night. You got $13 million that can't be accounted for. Well, I'm just saying we might want someone with a little more on the ball instead of just the first person with the pulse. But the problem that you run into there is you don't get those kind of people for $15 an hour. Now, to be fair, not only does the city of McComb not have any more money to spend than that, they don't even know how much money they have to spend. That $13 million, where did it go? Is it still there? Was it just misfiled? Was it misregistered in the books in such a way that it's there and everything's fine, we just don't know where it went? Or is it just missing? That's a year's budget. Unaccounted for, as the city administrator said. I'm just saying, maybe we up our game. I think we're going to have to up our game, or we're not going to be able to up our results. That's the goal. What do we shoot for? We don't care about the process. We don't care about making sure we touch second base and make everyone happy. We care about the results. And in this case, well, the immediate result right now is we want to find $13 million. I guarantee you get out of my way, give me a pocket calculator and an entire case of Red Bull. Get out of my way. I can find it, for a 10% commission. Be delighted to. Give me 10% of the $13 million, I'll find every penny of it. And it won't take long. When we come back, we're going to dive into the audio, including, we've been playing that clip where the city administrator said that about the $13 million in frustration, might I add. He finally dragged that out. There was more to that conversation. We'll get to that and get into a little more depth on some of the other stuff, including the financial report. We'll do that next on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County. Keep it here.
Darkness in my veins, I never could explain, and I wonder if you ever see.
Southwest Supply Company is your local source for supplying your office, restaurant, concession stand, or household, cleaning and janitorial supplies, food service items, and more. We're proud to be able to deliver all of your office supplies, office furniture, and business machines. Call 601-684-5521 or visit us at 1036 Gordon Covington Road in Summit. Southwest Supply Company, delivering weekly to McComb, Brookhaven, and surrounding areas.
Every now and then we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't escape in the morning, even when you miss it the first time. You can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on. New City of McComb anthem, by the way. I'm torn between this and Lido Shovel. Use them all the time. Either one seems to fit. Feels like they fit right now.
It was 30 days around the home. The captain says it's a 35 more. The moon looks mean, the crew ain't staying. Gonna be
Yeah, there you go.
There ain't no easy way out.
No, there's really not.
They're gonna shake you till you shout. Hey, hey, hey.
All right. Before we get to the audio, I keep having things that I remember that I need to relay to you. The McComb Historical Preservation Commission for the city, right on brand with the Historical Preservation Committee, made a post at 4 a.m. this morning. Good post. Fight the blight. That's their new catchy slogan. Fight the blight, do what's right. I'm going to read it to you because there's good stuff, and this plays into what I have been saying for a decade. I have been talking about curb appeal and how McComb doesn't have it anymore and has been losing it and continues to lose it. Our historic McComb deserves better. Abandoned buildings, overgrown lots, and neglected properties drag down our neighborhoods, harbor the unhoused, contribute further to the homeless dilemma, promote criminal activity, and hurt us all. It's time to take a stand. Totally right. All of it. You and I have had this conversation for years. We have talked about this. The McComb Historical Preservation Commission is calling on every resident, business owner, and community leader to join the fight. Clean up what's yours. Yes, that's step one. If everyone did that, the whole place would be spotless. Report blight when you see it. Well, I'm going to take the opportunity right now. I'd like to report some blight in the city of McComb. If you go out to the city limits and work in, that's where it's at. It's hard to nail it down more than that because it seems to be everywhere. Support restoration efforts from local organizations. Hold property owners accountable. Good luck. We have had abandoned derelict buildings in McComb owned by people out of town that don't care. Haven't been heard from nor seen from in many years, despite having legal threats, being reached out to, so forth, so on. Nothing. Looking at you, corner of Delaware and West. It's just abandoned. It's just sitting there. It's empty. Has been for a while. Understand why. That doesn't change the fact. They go on and go, what will you do today to make McComb stronger and more beautiful? Drop a heart emoji if you're ready to fight the blight. Facebook is not real life. You've also heard me say that a million times. It's a good promotional tool. It's a good mechanism to get people's attention, but taking action on Facebook is dangerous because it makes people feel like they've already done their part. Oh, I did something. I dropped a heart emoji like they asked me to. So I would recommend, personally, stop asking people to take action on Facebook because that scratches that little dopamine generator in their brain and they feel like they did something and then they don't do anything else. It's part of our problem. This is a good thing. I mean, the same thing going on with the McComb Main Street Association, the Downtown Association, getting that grant. You may have seen the news about that to revitalize, broken windows, rundown places, of which we have a bunch. Because of, all the reasons I've been saying for a decade. It's heartwarming to sit here and see everybody else finally getting on board with the same concept. Let's use a different metaphor. What is some of the advice that you get? We just went through it with the governor's job fair that happened last month. What was the one piece of advice they kept coming back to when they were talking on the air? We had people in here. Loran and other folks came in. I said it as well. We did the remote from there. It was a great time, good attendance. What was one piece of advice everybody got? Dress like you're going to a job interview. You may have heard the advice, dress for the job you want. If McComb were a person, it would be dressed to be a derelict bum. We are not dressing for the job we want. We haven't been for quite some time. There has been a plummeting sense of pride of place. We have to fix that. You've heard me say that a million times. I am thrilled to see different people getting on board. Talk, however, is cheap. Trust me. Trust me. Talk is cheap. We just need some action beyond sharing an emoji. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. No, what are we going to do? Let's actually do some things. Let's apply some pressure. Let's make sure everybody gets mobilized and starts to realize, hey, maybe Uncle Dave had a point. If we don't look like we're worth anything, what do people assume we're worth? Right. They're not listening to what's coming out of your mouth. They don't care. They have eyes. They can see for themselves, and they make their own judgment. So I think it's a great movement. Now, of course, getting the right first impression, I guess would be the way to put it. Getting the right image put forward also includes having some level of competency. We've played it a couple of times yesterday, a piece of it anyway. There was a discussion that went on about the February financial report. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning when they tried to just sneak it into the consent docket because we don't want to talk about this. And Selectman Matt Cotting from Ward 2 said, no, I want to pull this out and talk about it. Let's go back to the very beginning of that discussion and let's go through some of this.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve the consent docket? That's Selectwoman Isaac.
Second.
Selectwoman Baylor. Discussion.
We need a second.
Go ahead, Selectman Cotty.
I'd like to pull the February financial report summary.
Okay. Pull financial report. So that would have to be taken up
On its own later.
Okay. Anything else? None? All in favor of the consent docket minus item D, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes nay.
Nay. Nay.
Nay. Being Selectman McKenzie, Selectman Cardi, and did I hear you, Selectman Huff?
Nay.
Okay.
You found that?
The mayor votes aye.
Okay.
Motion carried. Okay, at this time, can I get a motion to consider receiving the financial report for February 2026? So moved. Selectwoman Isaac.
Second.
Selectwoman Baylor. Discussion time.
I want to make sure we don't gloss past it. I'm going to pause here for just a moment. Let's not blow past the fact that they tried to put this in the consent docket and not have this conversation. I don't know who did it. That's why I'm saying they. I don't think it was anybody in one of the 6 selectman seats. But they tried to put it in the consent docket where you just vote the entire batch of things, the claims docket and everything, all included in, all lumped in. You just vote aye or nay, and then you move on, and you never talk about it. Why? Well, we found out why.
Discussion.
I'm interested in hearing about this, about where the city stands financially, and it is, to my knowledge, I'll start with that. I'd like to get an update on how we're standing.
Okay.
Why do we have to make a special motion, pull something out, and then have a discussion and reiterate every other meeting? I'd like to know where we stand financially in the city of McComb. We have well-documented problems. We have issues. And that's even before the city administrator's admission. Ask the state auditor. We have problems financially. And with the financial records in the city of McComb, this is not a theory. This is not a guess. This is documented. I've got a copy of the letter from the state auditor from last year. This is not up for debate. Why do we have to keep every so often, every 2 meetings, every 4 meetings whatsoever, bring it up again and force the city administration to talk about the financial situation and where we're at now and how things are going to see if there's any improvement? If we believed in transparency on this planet, that would be every meeting. Opening of the meeting, every meeting, at worst, once a month. First part of a meeting would be a presentation on where we're at, where we've improved, what we've done to fix this. And don't think for a second that would carry zero weight with the state auditor's office. But it looks like we desperately hope nobody will ask us about this because it really stinks and it seems to be getting worse and we don't want to talk about it. And please don't ask about it because then we'll have to have the discussion and that's just not really good for us. It's much better to sweep things under the rug as much as we can, apparently. And that tired old game has worn out its welcome with the state auditor. It wore out its welcome last year. Again, this is not opinion. This is documented fact. Why is it like pulling hen's teeth to get an update on this? Why do we have to go through all... We're 2 minutes into this discussion, and we're just now about to get to actual facts, having to ask, and then ask again, and then ask again. Ask to pull it out so we can discuss it and get an update on the financials. Okay, that passes. Bring it up. Any discussion? Yes, I'd like to get an update on the financials. You shouldn't have to be asked at this point. No one should. Everyone who is working to make it better should be eager and in a rush to show what work they've done to get things back on track. Will that include admitting to some bad things that you uncover? Yeah, that's the point. Doesn't mean you did it. What it means is you're working to find all the stuff that has gone wrong and fix it. Or you can sit back and be real quiet and hope nobody notices. That's going pretty well, too. Back to the audio.
Madam Clerk, would you like to speak to this?
Yes. Tonight's report reflects activity through February of 2026, which is the most recent month that has been fully reconciled. I want to make sure that the numbers are present. The numbers present are accurate and verified. Overall, the general fund is showing revenues of 45% of budget and expenditures are at 53%. So we are currently spending slightly ahead of revenue.
Which is a fancy way of saying we're spending more than we're bringing in, which is a recurring theme in this report.
At this point in the fiscal year, this results in a current difference of about $1.0 million, which could be due to timing differences between revenues received and expenditures that are incurred. Property tax collections are currently 61% of budget, which is one of the stronger revenue areas reflected in the report. Some revenue categories, such as licensing and report permits, which is at 31%, and state shared revenue, which is at 39%, are lower at this point. Interest revenue is currently at 5% of budget, which will need to be monitored as the year progresses.
Let's not gloss over that one. There's a lot of other big, shiny, flashy things that catch your attention. Interest revenue, 5%. As of the end of February, this is the February report, as of February 28th, the amount of interest revenue that has come in is only 5% of what was budgeted for the year. There really aren't any good numbers in this report. There's nothing that makes you go, oh, well, we'll be okay. Everything's going great. No.
There are a few areas that are trending higher and will need monitoring. Traffic division is at 81%. Vehicle maintenance is at 77%. Funding to outside agency is at 71%. In special funds, there are a few areas that require attention. Hotel motel expenditures are at 101%. Breast cancer awareness expenditures are at 174%. In the utility fund, revenues are at 32%, while total expenditures and debt service are at approximately 48%, resulting in a current difference of $969,000. I do want to note that the financial information that's presented are based on the current reconciled data
Disclaimer
available
here.
at the time of preparation. If any additional information comes up or adjustments are needed, those updates will be reflected in the future reports. Overall, the report reflects our financial position based on the reconciled data through February 2026. My team and I will continue reconciling the remaining months and provide updates to ensure the board has the most accurate and up-to-date financial information.
Okay. Pretty standard cover your behind disclaimer there. Don't blame her for that. Especially in this administration, you better cover it. Nobody else is. Right after that, Select Woman Isaac had a question.
Okay. Select Woman Isaac.
Now, I wanted to know how many accounts do we have that's in the negative, and do we need to put a freeze on any account?
Okay, that is a very relevant question. You know, I give Select Woman Isaac some grief sometimes. That one, dead on. Well done. How many accounts do we have? How many accounts with the city are in a negative balance, and are there any that we need to put a freeze on spending from that account? We've had hiring freezes in the past. We've had spending freezes in the past. This is not an untoward question at all. Pretty well done. As far as how many are in the negative? I don't know.
How many accounts or which ones?
Anyone. I'm asking for, do we have any in the negative? And do we need to put a freeze on anybody, any account? It's no account in the negative.
Any accounts on negative? Well, the account that's in negative as far as expenditures, that would be hotel motel, which is at 101. No, we don't really have any in the negative that would need to be put on hold because, for one, it's not the complete year, and we're only 5 months in. So if revenues can pick up at any point during this time throughout the rest up until September.
So are you watching to make sure no one go over?
So the official plan seems to be, well, we still got time. We could get some extra money. Every day there could be a check in the mailbox. It could be a good day. So we're just going to hold course. We're doing great.
Yes, I am looking, and I have put out information not only to the department heads but also to the board regarding where we are on all of our active accounts. So if you
Select McComb.
So, you know, I don't want to, misinterpret this breast cancer awareness thing. I believe the error in this one was the beginning balance was higher, and some revenue wasn't captured because whatever revenue received was expenditured out in the form of a donation to the hospital. So I think there's something going on there that we probably need to dive into, and that everything is above board and legal. But I just, if we're going to call it out as an overspend when it's not, or we need to make sure it's not.
Okay. Couple of things there, just very quickly. Number one, Selectman Cotting says, if we're going to make sure that everything is above board and legal. Oh, so we're changing direction. That's nice. Don't look at me like that. You were thinking it too. Everything above board. Oh, that'll be refreshing. We haven't done that in a long time. But he's probably right, but that doesn't diminish the fact that it's still a problem. It's not the problem that you initially think of. It's just the problem of we don't know how to properly keep, maintain, or update financial records of any kind in city government in McComb. This would be another great example of it if it is exactly as he represented, as you heard him. The beginning balance was higher. There were some things that were not expenditured out, even though it was expenditured. And what he's describing, the best case scenario is we still stink at accounting. I'm not certain that's a win.
No, go ahead. That's why I made the statement of, as this is just for transparency, and as I continue to look through these, this will change. It may change. So,
you know what doesn't change? Numbers. You ever balanced your checkbook? I hope you're saying yes. If you've ever balanced your checkbook, you know it doesn't change. You know suddenly you don't go back and look at last year's checkbooks, last year's registers, and go, oh, there was a mistake. Turns out I've got $5,000 more than I thought. I'm going to Stuckey's. No. In the real world, operating with numbers, dealing with financial records, it doesn't change. That to me is a very clear-cut sign that things are still a galloping hot mess with the financial records in the city of McComb. If we're saying, well, we just got done with the February ones. Oh, you don't like that part? Well, it could change. Oh, I'm sure the whiteout company is still in business. I'm sure it could change. That would be an even easier one. Forget trying to find the $13 million. Just give me a bottle of whiteout and a half an hour in the office, and I can make everything balance. It'll be great. I'm not saying that's going on. I'm just saying we're not looking for adjustments to make us feel better about how bad things are. Let's deal with how bad things are, and then we won't have to be made to feel better. My thought. Just my thought.
You know, in the future, that may not be the case as far as now.
And also, the breast cancer walk is October, which overlaps 2 financial years. So donations would possibly be in the previous financial year that were expensed out this financial year, which is why her starting cash balance should have been dramatically higher to offset. Does that make sense?
For the starting cash balance, that's not this way for me.
And that does make sense because the fiscal year ends on September 30th. That's what Selectman Cotting is very correctly referring to. And then the breast cancer awareness activities and disbursements from that fund happen in October. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So the donations come in last fiscal year and they get spent this fiscal year, which if you're having trouble with the books can lead to confusion.
Yeah.
Select one.
I should have at least $4,000 left in that account. A little over 4,000, maybe. Right at 4,000. But that's what I left in there.
Okay. The 500 is what's on the budget that the board approved prior.
So that makes me be interested.
Do want to say that you have to understand that she's taking the data that she has and doing her best. There may be some items that have been miscoded, and hopefully she will catch all the items that have been miscoded. But right now, based upon the data that she has, she is providing us a financial report for the month from October through the month of February.
Now, wait, we were told, it has been represented that, yes, we had some issues, but they have been fixed. That's been taken care of. Well, this is for October through February. This is April. That was 2 months ago. And we still don't have our accounting and our records sorted out to the point to where we can give an accurate report. Which means whatever problems led us to the point to where the state auditor's office got involved, we just started blowing off audits. Everything was a mess. We didn't know how much money we had anywhere at any time for anything. As of 2 months ago, that was still the case because she's doing the best she can with the record she has. So nothing has changed. That's what that tells me. Nothing has improved. We're right where we've been for the last 8 years, which is lost in the woods desperately. Well, once again, desperately probably looking for a Stuckey's at this point because at least we could get a Chick-a-Stick at that point. Select McCotting came back in, by the way.
Select McCotting.
All right, so kind of my regional set of questions. So property taxes, this is the end of February. Most property taxes, to my knowledge, are paid January, February. If we're outstanding 40% approximately of our property taxes, then that is alarming because those may not come in. Or it means all of those are now late, probably. So that is kind of concerning there. How was this created? Was this in Excel?
Yes.
So can we get the AS400 printout at some point or email to us?
I took all my information from the AS400. This is all information that came in my report on the first page. It tells you that all this came from AS400.
Yeah, so the only two things that I'm noticing, one, it just feels good that it comes straight from the system. I do like how this is color coded and easier to read. So maybe the other one emailed because it's like this thick. That's not really necessary every day. And I do like the color coding. That's very helpful. But the only thing missing is what percent of the year we're through. And that's something that the AS400 does a good job of notifying. And also if we're over in somewhere, it's nice to know like what line item we're over in. Just so that we can
If you would like a detailed report, I can provide it for you.
And that's the next part. First, we tried to put this and shove it into the consent docket so we wouldn't have to have this discussion at all. Now, as it turns out, we took the actual detailed report and dumbed it down for the dummies on the board because we want to make it simple and direct and eat. And no, hand them a giant stack of paper. Somebody has to go through that stuff eventually, but that's okay. You know, we've had years and years of problems. She's working with the best data she can get from February, 2 months ago, month and a half ago. February 28th to April 16th, that's a month and a half. A month and a half ago, we still didn't have this sorted out by their own admission. It's really depressing that things get more ridiculous the more we find out. That's not good. We continue. Try to slide one more thing in here when we come back. Keep it here.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term life insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term life insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term life insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, but just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave Hughes here. Remember, every weekday morning at 9:06, it's Dave in the Morning, where we solve the problems of the world, or at least complain about them really loudly and sarcastically. And if you miss out, you can catch up with the podcast version of Dave in the Morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
I'm alright, nobody but about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be?
Welcome back, Super Talk, Mississippi Pike County, 93.5, Thursday morning. In the arid, tumbleweed-strewn wasteland that is the city of McComb Financial Records. I could have called it a lot worse things. I could have made much worse, comparisons. Simile-wise, we came out pretty good with that one. I don't know. I know we don't have time to get to the rest. Well, we may have to do it another time. I wanted to get into the entire conversation from the city administrator that led to the quote that I keep playing over and over, because this quote really needs to be played over and over.
Going through this $38,000 piece of equipment with, as opposed to $13 million that I can't account for.
So $13 million we can't account for. Possibly found $1 million. The mayor, at the end of the financial report discussion, summed everything up.
As she has reported right now, based upon revenue and expenditures, we have exceeded. Expenditures have exceeded revenue coming in by $1,096,000.
Spent $1 million you didn't have. Yeah, that's good business practice. I like that.
Yeah. That may mean that we need to slow down.
May. Out of all the words in the English language, hundreds of thousands of words and different terms. Heck, you could borrow some from a different language if you wanted to add to your range of possible choices. And you go with, we may want to slow down. I mean, it's not a crisis yet. We've only spent $1 million more than we have so far. So we may want to possibly consider looking at spending a little less for a while until we get caught up. May? Semantics are important. Word choice is important. It tells you a lot about where somebody's mind is at, I think, in my opinion. So we've spent $1 million more than we brought in this fiscal year. We may want to not take the family out to eat this weekend.
In the general fund. And then you did hear her talk about those special revenue funds that she had some concerns about. One being hotel, motel.
Every time anyone in city government in McComb wants to do anything, the words hotel, motel tax are going to be uttered. That has become the slush fund for ridiculous projects. They're not all ridiculous. There's some good stuff that money's been used for. But it's not a bottomless pit of 20s. And we are at the bottom. It's dry. The well has run out. There's nothing but dust and failed dreams down there. So let's not hear the term hotel motel tax, because the thing you have to remember is a lot of those expenditures coming out of that fund weren't one-time expenses. It's ongoing payments for loans and financing for projects and other things. The next thing I want to hear is, for how long is the hotel motel tax committed? Because you cannot guarantee, especially in this economy, you cannot bet on suddenly a huge uptick in people getting hotel rooms in the city limits. Might happen, but you can't bet on that. So for how far forward is the hotel motel tax fund committed? That we can't touch it anymore after this. We're done. Don't ever bring it up again. If you've got some wonderful, fluffy idea that you want to do, well, you're going to have to find the money somewhere else. Not that you're going to be able to do that, because we've spent $1 million more than we've brought in.
And you also, the utility fund, you may pay attention to the utility fund because revenues coming in, and you look at that, that's only 32% of the projected revenues for the utility fund, and this is at the end of the 5th month. So it should be around 40, I'm going to say about 45, 48.
That's
maybe.
Correct. That's about right.
But it's only at 32%. These are things that we need to just pay attention to because...
No, these are things you need to do something about. Let's quit using the fluffy, well, there's nothing I can do, my hands are tied, I'm going to lunch language. That's something you have to do something about, not pay attention to. This report and this discussion is paying attention to it. You saying we're done? No.
We talk about our utility bills, how much we pay and all that, but you also have to realize that everybody don't pay.
We're aware that's been a scandal for a while now. We just 2 weeks ago, had the discussion that there were 4 meters the Water Company of America found who were paying the minimum. I think one of them wasn't paying anything, but they were paying the bare minimum payment when they were using literally millions of gallons of water per month. It was costing the city $100,000 a month, and the estimate was over the last year it had cost the city $1 million. How much are we in the hole? Expenditures versus receipts? $1 million. Found it for you. You're welcome. Doing your job, doing your work. But you're exactly right, Mr. Mayor. Not everyone pays. What are we going to do about it? That's the question that never seems to have an answer provided for it. All right, we're out of time. I'm out of blood pressure medicine. We will do this again next week. For now, of course, getting ready for tomorrow morning at 6:06. Back in the chair with Lance for mornings. Tune in and join me then. See you then, my friend.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.